Alright guys, welcome to the weekly recap. This is for week commencing the 16th of March. I've took two trade ideas this week. The first one was an intraday position which hit TP, and the other trade idea was a swing position which unfortunately hit stop loss. I'm going to talk you through both trade ideas, of course, my thinking behind it, my entries and so forth. And also I came out of my 2-week long swing position as well for some healthy gains. So what we'll do is go through the charts. I'll talk you through everything. And if there's any questions, of course, please do drop in the comments and I will get back to you. All right, guys. So this is the week that we was trading, which was Monday the 16th. As you can see there at the bottom, I'm just going to go back on replay so we can see before the week begins. So my plan was simple this week. I was looking for buys on DXY and shorts on EU and GU. I will talk about the intraday position, which was the first trade I took, which is actually opposite to what I just said. But the main swing position was as follows, right? So first of all, we are disrespecting bearish order flow. We've completely ran through this weekly bearish fair value gap. If we've gone the daily as well, we've disrespected all this bearish order flow as well. And we can see price is respecting bullish order flow, right? We respected this, we've respected this one here. These are fair value gaps. We didn't quite come into this one here, but it's left a nice weekly fair value gap as well as a daily fair value gap. And you can see price is just displacing higher, okay? So order flow is quite bullish. So for me, the plan was quite simple. It was to come into one of these daily fair value gaps and to push higher. So something like this, right? Something like that. So that was the first idea. And then the other idea could be something like this as well, okay? So we had two, ideas. We need to find out which daily fair value gap it's going to react from. I'm just going to mark this up as a daily fair value gap. Cool. So that was the plan, right? Now, when we took liquidity on the week prior from here, we did get a bit of a push down. So if we look on the 4-hour here, once we swept this liquidity from the previous week, this is the Friday, we can see what happened on the Friday. It started to push down, right? It started to push down, and we created this 4-hour fair value gap just here, okay? You can see prices came into that, and we've got a big, strong wick. And I believe that because we took liquidity, we created a 4-hour fair value gap. We started to respect this fair value gap. I believe that actually we was going to target this daily fair value gap. So this is setting up nicely for the intraday position I mentioned at the start of the week, okay? So this is Monday now. And you can see that price action, as I said, is starting to come lower. And I believe actually we're targeting this daily fair value gap to then push higher, right? So what I'm actually doing is trading the retracement of the main idea for the week, okay? So how this looks on EU, if I just go back, you can see here, I'll go through this. This is a previous 2-week swing position. But you can see here, if I just play this and get rid of this, because we're trading the retracement, I'm now looking for buys on EU, okay? So try not to get that confused. The main setup for the week for me was actually going to be sells on EU because I wanted, DXY to react from that bullish daily fair value gap as I mentioned. But right now, I'm actually looking for this setup. So I'm looking for DXY to now sell off to this daily fair value gap because it's retracing, and with EU, that means I'm now looking for buys. So in EU, my position was quite simple. Now, I was a bit naughty on this one because I don't normally trade intraday positions. So that was something I noted and journaled. But basically, I got in on this trade idea just like this. Something like that. Stop loss was about here. And I was targeting this for about it was about a 3R. So I obviously got in a bit late. So something about that. My stop loss was covering this low. And I must have gotten around here. And this was really cool as well because, price action was quite aggressive. It was displacing, it was quite pushing. And even though it was an intraday trade idea, I did actually hold this overnight. So as you can see, this goes into Tuesday. We do create a 4-hour fair value gap just here. So we create this, we've got one small one here, but I believe it actually comes into this one here. I'm just going to play this forward now. And you can see on Tuesday, taps into this 4-hour fair value gap just there, as you can see, and then eventually hits TP. I'll share the trades on the screen right now. So you can see that, and that was the first winning trade of this week. So all in all, a real good start of the week. Now, at this point, price has actually hit my first kind of drawn liquidity, right? Which was this daily fair value gap, okay? So now we're inside this daily fair value gap. I'm now looking for swings. This retracement was what I traded on EU, right? I'm looking for buys on EU because DXY is going lower. But now we're in this area. This is where I'm expecting a reaction, okay? And I'm looking for displacement away. And this is where I start dropping down on the 1 hour. Now, I took 2 different swing positions. One I got in a bit early and it stopped me out, and I'll show you that in a second. So let me just play this forward. This was Wednesday, just before PPI. So I think this might be the move here. So I got in on this, and as you can see, stop loss was here, and I believe that this was actually high of the week. Okay, so we had high of the week in, we displaced, and I was going to be targeting liquidity below. Could be this one or this one, but actually I was holding to this one. And my stop loss, I covered this daily fair value gap for about 35 pip. I'm sure I did. Something like that, okay? So I'm in the trade. Hindsight bias, this is a bit naughty because I got in before PMI, which, you know, I did think this PMI could push in our direction, but that was not the case, as you can see. So I'm in this trade right now. We are, you know, fair value gap, 1 hour displacement. And you can see, oh, in fact, no, it was here. My stop loss was here, a bit too tight. I think I might have gotten about there. So cover the high of the week, and you can see I got stopped out here, okay? So that was here, the first trade. Got stopped out. Again, hindsight, I got in too early. I should have been a bit more patient there, a bit more impulsive. It was reacting from a daily fair value gap, and I thought PMI would actually push it in my favor. But actually, I got stopped out. And also, as you can see, you know, the stop loss, I think it might have actually gone a bit lower, something like that. Stop loss is a bit tight than normal. And actually it stopped me out then before going in my direction. So at this point, I actually switch over to GU after PMI came out. So as you can see, if I go on DXY now, DXY is fully displaced, you know, very aggressive. That is more convincing displacement for me. So at this point, I look on GU and I actually get in the GU trade. So let's get rid of this. So this is the GU trade. I'm covering high of the week on this one. Nice stop loss position as well. So 41 pips. And you can see here that price does go in our favor quite a bit, right? So it's starting to push lower. This was, what news was this? This was FOMC. So price is in profits. Really, really good stuff. And then, as you can see, price starts to reverse, and I believe something was said in a press conference to do with the war, which you know, the price action really didn't like, and it favored bullish momentum. You can see it stopped me out just there. Okay, so price actually went to so about 2R on the trade. And again, for me, I like to give what the market's giving me. So for liquidity, you know, that would be a good target. But if I also go on the daily as well, you can see we have liquidity down here as well, okay? So unfortunately, that stopped me out. The big thing is I stuck to my rules, okay? That was the big thing. The one thing I wish I would change is probably the EU trade that I got in a bit too early. That was kind of the big mistake I made this week. And yeah, that was a bit frustrating looking back. But overall, in terms of this GU trade, I'm more than happy with that. I cannot control what is said in press conferences. All I can control is my risk management and obviously my setup by sticking to the rules, okay? So I was actually more pleased with this trade compared to the first EU trade, which I got stopped out on, okay? So I'm human, I make mistakes, and I got in on that too early. In terms of the 2 week long swing position, I actually got, I came out, I believe, so this was actually the overall target. And I think I got out around about this point here. So when I started to see price action here, actually no, it was on the Friday. I came out on the Friday, comes lower, and I want to say I came out about here for about 2R, something like that, for about 2R, 2.2R. Again, the reasons for this is because I believe EU wants to go higher, and my psychology holding this all the way up to this weekly fair value gap wouldn't make sense. The reason being that is I cannot trade the account whilst I'm live in a trade. The reason for that is because I was in on about 1.5% risk, and I'd rather take my profits, take my percentage, and then I can now trade that account again going into the next weeks. All right. So for DXY, looking at this right now, I actually believe DXY might actually come to this weekly fair value gap, come lower to then push higher. Okay. Of course, anything can happen, but that was the reason I came out of the EU 2-week trade, simply because we've got a weekly fair value gap here, and that is pretty much at my break even, right? And I'd rather just take my percentage and then take another percent up from here to then come lower and obviously get more profits on that account. So that is pretty much it. Intraday position, which is a winning trade. I came out of the 2-week swing position for a good percentage as well. And obviously I lost 2 swing trade ideas. The first one was a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. The second one I'm definitely happy with. But overall, it's a green week. It's a profitable week. And overall for March, every week's been in the green, which is a good thing, especially with how February treated us. So that is enough for this video. Again, it's a bit of a recap. Hopefully you're getting value from these. Hopefully you can understand my thinking. If you have got any questions, please do leave them in the comments below, and I will get back to you. And of course, if you have got value, don't forget to give a thumbs up as well. That's enough for me, guys. I'll see you next week on the other weekly recap. I wish you all the best in the trading. And as I mentioned, any questions, please do let me know. See you soon.